Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. Hello, Chop Squad. I'm excited to be here with you again. And our guest is Andrei Mincov. And I'm excited for having him on. He is the founder and CEO of the Trademark Factory. So our conversation today is going to get juicy. It's the only firm in the world that offers trademark registration services with a guaranteed result for a guaranteed budget. Now, Andrei's career in intellectual property began when he fought a Russian radio station that stole his father's music. And since then, Andrei has written multiple books on intellectual property or IP and won an international bestseller. And he has helped thousands of entrepreneurs and companies protect their IP. Now, we're going to hear more from Andrei and the Trademark Factory on the other side of this message.
Knock out your competition with Altogether Marketing. We elevate your brand. Take a stance with your business name, logo, the tagline, your colors, even the fonts for your business. And then jab left with your website, jab right with core values. Back up with product experience and bring it on with you. Visit altogether.biz and let us help you create a knockout brand.
Thanks for having me, Andrei. Excited to be here with you today.
Awesome. Andrei believes people who have created something deserve to not have it stolen from them, like it's his dad. Hardworking entrepreneurs like us shouldn't be taken advantage of. And that's why he founded Trademark Factory. That's why he's passionate about sharing his experiences with growth-minded entrepreneurs who want to build amazing brands. And there's a fun fact we started asking our guests. And Andrei, I'm going to let you tell us this fun fact about you. When you're not securing trademarks, what do you enjoy doing?
Well, there's a bunch of things I enjoy doing, but the one you're probably asking about is me playing drums. And I've been doing music more than I've been doing law, and but it's a big hobby. And so what I was able to do is I built myself a hybrid between an office desk and a drum kit. So I have a fully functional double bass drum kit that's integrated into my desk, so I can type an email and do my double bass paradiddles at the same time. So lots of fun.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here and I got drumsticks.
All right. So we're going to have to get a picture up later in the show so we can actually see that kit. Yeah. Oh gosh, that was funny. I enjoyed reading that. And the other piece, folks, is Andrei is actually living in Dubai with his wife and his 3 kids. And I'm in Ohio and his temperatures are in the 80s. And I'm over here in the teens with a single-digit wind chill. But, I digress. But anyway, so let's get going.
It's chilly here. Yeah, 80s.
Yeah.
Cold. Very.
Let's go. Oh my goodness, we're never satisfied, are we? Oh geez. All right. So let's get right into it because this is a very important topic. And and I know your expertise. I've been on your website, looked around, and so I know you've got a lot to offer us today. So let's the first question is, why are trademarks important? Why should we get one?
Well, look, to answer that, you have to go back to the underlying questions. Why are brands important?
Oh, yes.
Because what a trademark does, it allows you to legally own your brand. Without a trademark, you don't legally own your brand. Really, without a trademark, what you have is maybe a word or image or a phrase that you want to be your brand, but it only becomes a brand when you can stop your competitors from using a similar name or a similar logo or a similar tagline to sell their products and services to compete with you. And the only way to do that is by getting a trademark. So going back to why a brand's important, there are many reasons why brands are important. But let me ask you this. Let me give you a little bit of a challenge. Try thinking of one successful business, anyone, without thinking of its brand.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, I
You
can't.
can't, because the brand is what you think about when you think
Yeah.
of a business. That's
Yes.
the whole point of having a brand, so that people remembered something about you.
Mhm.
Whether it's the name of the product, the name of the service, the name of the company, whatever, right? Whether it's the Golden Arches, or
Yes.
no, or Just Do It, or iPhone.
Right. Yeah.
These are all brands,
Mhm.
and
That's so good,
like,
Drake.
right? And so that's why we come up with them as entrepreneurs, so that the market could distinguish our products and services from everyone else's. When you have an established brand, selling your stuff becomes a lot easier than when nobody knows who you are and you have to prove every single time that you're not a crook, that you're a real business, and that you're providing good services or good products. Big brands don't have that problem.
Mhm.
The brand does the selling for them. Getting good talent becomes significantly easier when you have an established brand, because everyone wants to work for you. As opposed to when you're a nobody, you have to pay them more. You have to convince them that you're worth taking a shot with, right? Your investors are much more likely to give you money than when nobody knows about you. So brand is that intangible thing that adds tremendous amount of value to your business, and you not owning it, it's kind of silly if you think about it. So that's what trademarks are for, and that's why they're important.
Okay. Because I don't think we really think about that, as far as not necessarily, not the actual mark, but our names. You're talking about our names as well, not just the graphic depiction.
Absolutely. Then
Correct.
the
Yeah.
names are,
That's the
yeah,
point. Yeah. We don't think about that.
because the names are usually the first thing to trademark. They're the most important one, because logos change. If you look at history, I don't know, Starbucks, they've had how many changes of their logo?
Yeah.
Right? Or like there's so many of them that keep changing every few years.
Yep.
But the name usually stays the same.
Correct.
And the name is the most valuable one. And we actually get a lot of these questions from business owners who are like, well, I'm considering trademarking, but I haven't finalized my logo yet. I don't think I'm ready. And I'm telling them, you're looking at it completely backwards, because what if the name that you came up with is not trademarkable? Maybe someone has a similar brand already.
Yeah.
Why would you spend any money or any time trying to design a logo around the name that you can't have?
Mm.
Right? So you always start with a name. If you have a logo already, well, cool, we can check that as well. But the name is usually, well, I would say usually 99.9% of the time should be the first one for you to go and get trademarked. Everything else is gravy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I never even thought about that, because when you register your name, say if you just do it with your state or nationally or something, but that's not registering your trademark. That's just
And
getting a license basically to do business under that name.
and that's what a lot of people actually have this misconception around brands, because when you register your LLC or
Yeah.
incorporate your company, all it does, it registers your legal entity. It
Mhm.
doesn't give you any real tangible protection for your brand, certainly not on federal level. All it does, it at best will prevent the corporate registry in your state from allowing someone else to register a company with that same name.
Mhm.
But it's anyone can register a company with a different name and still compete with you under your brand if you haven't trademarked it. That's the problem.
Wow.
Right. And trademarks, they're federal as opposed to state corporations. So that's another big advantage.
That's a bonus. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so building a successful business and using our brand.
Yeah. So really, that's why we come up with a brand. All of our marketing is built around the brand. All of
Mhm.
our advertising is built around it. All the customer experience that we do for
Mhm.
our clients, we make it so that they remember that our name, if we use a logo, then the logo. For some businesses, logos are more important than the others. Same with taglines. If we came up with a tagline really is just a piece of marketing, right?
Okay.
But if you can, if you see that your marketing, like this little tagline, a little slogan that you came up with, if you see that it's really working well for you to attract new clients, and you can legally own a monopoly on that tagline, again, very smart to get that trade, just like Nike did with Just Do It.
Yeah, and that was simple. Then that little swoosh, real simple. Yeah.
So the swoosh actually has an interesting story. Do you know how much Nike paid their designer for the swoosh?
I can't remember because I do know the story. I don't know if it was $25. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, $35.
Yeah, it was 35. Okay, I knew it was something.
Yeah. And now Nike's brand, like all of it, just the brand itself, is worth $47 billion.
That is crazy.
Out of their total valuation of 97. So more than half of the company is just that intangible right to stop everyone else from using the name Nike, from Just Do It and the swoosh. And that's absolutely crazy. But if you think about it, it makes perfect sense, because a blank white T-shirt is a few, maybe half $1. Right. You put a swoosh in it, and suddenly you can sell it for $30.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but what is the difference between a service mark and a trademark?
There isn't any. So
there you go.
There used to be a legal distinction long time ago. So when they started with the trademark law back in the day, it was many, many, many decades ago. They first allowed only for business owners to only protect trademarks in connection with physical products. Like you couldn't get a brand trademarked for services. And so separately, then they say, oh, you know what? We should also allow people to trademark services. And they called them service marks. And then at some point, some brilliant mind said, you know what? The protection is kind of the same. Like there's a little bit of a distinction here and there, but let's call both of them trademarks and just have this distinction in terms of what you need to show to prove that you have a trademark for services, and what you have to show to show that you got a trademark for products or goods. So, but in legal terms today, there's no difference at all.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. We get that that myth sold up. So can we throw copyright in that same basket, or with patents, or no?
No. So copyright is totally different. Copyright protects work of authorship. So like books, music, videos, software. So the stuff, the content that you put out there, that's protected by copyright. The brand is something completely different. So think about this. You can trademark something that's completely unoriginal. Like you can trademark a green square. Like H&R Block did for their logo, right? It's not a work of copyright because there's nothing artistic around that, but it can be protected as a trademark because you don't protect that image for the artistic quality of the image, but because it represents a product or a service. With copyright, it is about artistic originality, and that's what copyright does. And as for patents, patents protect inventions. So if you came up with something, a product or a method of doing something that no one's ever thought of before, and you can convince the intellectual property office, the patent office, that, hey, this is useful, this is original, and this is non-obvious, then you can get a patent on that. But it's all about a new genius idea, right? Again, trademarks, they protect your brand regardless of whether you're doing whether you're selling something new or you're selling something that everyone else does, like ketchup, right? Like if you go to a store, you'll see a lot of bottles of ketchup up there and on the shelf, and the only difference really is the brand, right? But inside just ketchup. So the patent could protect maybe the recipe of that ketchup, but from trademarking purposes, it doesn't matter how it tastes, doesn't matter how good it is, doesn't matter if you stole somebody's recipe. All that matters is that the brands are different.
How do we know what our brand is worth?
Ooh, that's a great question, actually, because there isn't really any hard metrics on that. There are experts or people who claim they're experts who look at what your brand does for you, like the market penetration, how important the brand is in your ability to convert customers, the longevity, number of, like they look at a billion different factors and then they come up with a number and they say, that's how much. I'm sure there are theories and I'm making light of them by giving you my answer, but it's really something that's extremely subjective. So one expert is going to say this is worth $40 billion. The other one is going to say it's worth $80 billion. And someone else is going to say, well, it's only worth, $10 billion. But still, for big brands, you are looking at numbers with a lot of zeros at the end. One thing I want to share with you, which I think is going to be useful to your audience, because my prediction is not a large proportion of your audience has businesses with brands that are worth tens of billions of dollars. But for the normal entrepreneurs like you and I, here's something that can be useful. The moment you come up with the brand, the moment an entrepreneur thinks of, oh, you know what, I'm going to call this company or this product or this service X, whatever, ABC, right? That moment, the value of the brand is zero, because all it's got is potential value, what it can become if the entrepreneur goes out there and gets some traction with what he's trying to put out on the market. At the same time, that very moment when he comes up with that, or she comes up with that brand, it will be the most trademarkable this brand will ever be, because it can only go downhill from there. And so what happens over time is that the value of the brand goes up with all the networking events you go to and say, hey, this is my business card, this is my product, this is my website, this is my Facebook. So more and more people find out about you, brand value goes up, and registrability goes down, because with all the people you've shared your brand with, there comes the increased risk that one of them is going to say, oh, that's a good name, let me go and trademark that. So at some point, this gap becomes big enough that you end up in a situation when theoretically you have something really valuable, but something you can't own anymore, and you have to go back to the drawing board and start all over again. And that's a really painful moment. And we've helped thousands of entrepreneurs trademark their brands with Trademark Factory, and oftentimes they come to us and we do the search. That's the first thing we do, the comprehensive trademark search, to establish that what you came up with is even trademarkable, because we don't want you to waste any time or money on a brand that can't be trademarked. That's how we get to 99.3% rate of success, because we're not interested in your money if we can't give you the result that you want. And so oftentimes we have to tell entrepreneurs, you know what, this brand you came up with, you can't have it. And like, what do you mean I can't have it? And we're like, look, there's this trademark, there's this trademark, and there's this trademark, and there's no way the trademarks office will approve your trademark because that's too close. And say, well, I've been doing this for 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because that's how trademarks work. You should have thought about it. Remember when I kind of showed you that graph? You should have thought about it earlier. And it becomes significantly less painful at that point to just say, you know what? Yeah, good idea. I can't have it. Let me come up with a plan B.
Right. So when we're deciding, other than our company names, and maybe our top line products or something, we want to name our products. Say, for instance, if we're given a course, or we have a webinar that we're doing, should we trademark even the name of that webinar?
Okay, so that maybe. So if you have an unlimited budget, basically you trademark everything you come up with. Like we have a client, my mentor, Dan Locke, we've done more than 150 trademarks for you, because basically this guy, every time he comes up with a name of a course, a name of a product, the name of a webinar that sells the course, he would say, Andrei, go and trademark that. And but it's not necessary for everybody. So the question you ask yourself is, well, there's a few. First of all, is this a brand that I think I'll continue using 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now? If the answer is no, it's just a one-time webinar, then who cares? Because it's going to take about 1.5 years for your trademark to go through anyway. So if by the time you get it, you don't have a business under that brand anymore, you don't have a product under that name, or you don't have a service under that name, you don't need that trademark, right? So the first question you ask yourself is, will you still have it 2, 3, 5 years from now? Second question you ask yourself is, will this brand be important to my business if the business is successful 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now, right? Will there be any reason why I'd want to stick to this brand? And the answer is usually yes, unless again it's just a one-time thing. And once, if you say yes to both of them, yes, I'll still need it, yes, it'll be valuable, then you want to trademark it as early as possible.
Okay, awesome. Well, this has been a very informative, Andrei. Really appreciate it. How can we get in touch with you, learn more, and perhaps work with you to get some trademarks done?
Sure. So you'd go to trademarkfactory.com. It's an easy way to remember. Trademark Factory, we have trademarkfactory.com. You go there, and there's a big button that will allow you to request a free call with one of our strategy advisors. And their role is really to answer all your questions, help you with priorities. Like you've asked a lot of great questions, but there were mostly theoretical questions, like what do I start with? Where do I need it? So when you get on a call with them, they will actually ask you about your business, what you're trying to accomplish with it, and they'll be able to advise you on the strategy that makes sense to you as a business and to you as someone who has to pay for all that stuff, right? So we're going to discuss the budgets, we're going to discuss priorities, and the best thing about Trademark Factory, as you mentioned in the intro, is that we're the only firm out there that offers trademark registration services with a guaranteed result for a guaranteed budget. What that means is that you don't pay for our time. You don't pay for us to file your trademark and then milk you every time the trademarks office says, hey, you know what, there's a problem. You pay for the whole thing, from the comprehensive search to us mailing you your trademark registration certificate in a custom frame. And if we don't get you there, then you get all your money back. Again, when was the last time you got a refund from a lawyer, right?
Really?
And really, that's what the whole idea of Trademark Factory really is, that with trademarks, entrepreneurs don't really care how complex the process is, how hard the lawyers worked on your case. All you care about, did I get my trademark or did I not?
Right.
And so with Trademark Factory, if you got it, then you get your certificate in a frame. And if you didn't, you get everything you paid us back to a penny.
Awesome. Well, that's great.
So trademarkfactory.com, book that call, and mention that you came from Andrei, because if you do, we'll give you a little bit of a deal to make it even sweeter for you.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, Business Shop, let's start looking at your products and services, your company names, and let's get some stuff trademarked, protected. That's what we want to do in our other types of intellectual property. Yeah. So, Andre, thanks again. I really appreciate it. I don't know if there is any last minute advice or that you want to send us home with.
Yes, two.
Okay.
One, if you just want to learn more about trademarks, we have a YouTube channel with over 1,000 videos about trademarks. If there is a question about trademarks, I've probably answered more than once on that channel. You can go through that for free and just have all your questions, theoretical questions answered. But more importantly, I just want to say this. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're spending any time, money, or efforts trying to build your business, try to become successful with what you're building, know this. Your brand, the one that you came up with, is not worthless. Regardless of what people around you may tell you, and all the people who laugh at you and tell you that maybe you should stop this thing and go back and do something serious. What you're doing is not worthless. What you do has value, even if you're the only one who believes in this. So treat your business, treat your brand as something that will one day become really valuable, and treat it as something valuable on day one. That's my advice. Wow, that's encouraging right there. Very encouraging. We appreciate your time. And what's the time over in Dubai? It's 1 a.m. right now. Oh, wow. We really appreciate your time. It's 4:30. And you're all energetic and, and feel happy to be here. I'm really excited. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your, your downtime for real to speak with us with such, an important topic, very important topic. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to The Business Shop. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guest and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businessshop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.